Hi, I'm Yinka, and this is The Hurt Locker, a podcast where we open a door into men's mental health. Come and go. Let me dive in now.
How far back do you want me to go? Wasn't easy when I look back. It was a constant worry growing up. That took some forgiving of myself to feel like that. That was...
Tell me why it took forgiving.
How could you possibly be relieved?
Because that's a normal human emotion. And I'm thinking as well, during that period of time, you were on a state of hypervigilance, screening for the what ifs.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? What's next? You're listening to The Hurt Locker, the podcast that opens the door on men's mental health. And tonight's guest, we have Wilson Milton. Wilson, welcome to The Hurt Locker.
Hi, Inka. Nice to be here.
Okay, how are you today?
I'm good. Tired, I guess. Always tired. I haven't had decent sleep for 2 years with the baby in the house, but I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. For the benefit of people who may not know you, who is Wilson Milton?
Wilson is... how far back do you want me to go? He's a little boy from a council estate. But currently, as a grown-up man, if I ever will feel like one, I'm a comedian, comedy club owner, promoter, and I still fit carpets in the daytime. So that's where I'm at. I guess the social media, I forget about that because it's kind of recent, the whole social media growth for me. I don't know I wouldn't call myself an influencer. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm doing all right, I suppose.
Okay. Whereabouts in the country are you?
I am in London, southwest London currently.
Okay. Where's that, around Ealing, etc., or?
Kind of Morden, the last stop on the Northern Line.
Why am I saying southwest? Morden. I know Morden Line, Tooting Beck,
Yeah.
Tooting Broad.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah,
that's
I know that. I know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's right.
Welcome. Okay. Because you're that neck of the woods, do you ever get the opportunity to go to Wimbledon?
Do you know what? I actually have only just moved down here. I've always been South London, so I was South East London most of my life, Crystal Palace, that kind of way.
Yeah.
And I've only just moved here in the last 10 months or something because of the baby and stuff. We'd moved to a new area with more green space and stuff.
Okay.
But I'll be honest, I don't think I'd even go to Wimbledon. I might, I don't know, maybe if I got free tickets, but I wouldn't. It's not my cup of tea. I don't know. I'm not saying I hate tennis. I watch a good game of tennis, but I don't think I'd go and just keep moving my head like this. I can't do that.
Okay. So let me dive in now then. A couple of days ago, Tim said to me, and I never do this, he said to me, watch Wilson's couple of his social medias and all of that. And I don't know if he was priming me for anything like that, before we met. So I clicked on and I saw you doing an interpretation of an Indian guy and all of that.
Yeah.
And you know what? My initial response was, "Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that because I don't know you and all of that." So I was like that on the edge. There was part of me that felt a little bit wounded. Okay.
Yeah.
And part of me was like, okay, let's stick with this. And then what followed that was a Nigerian person.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, it made me chuckle. mainly because I am Nigerian as well,
Yeah.
And you kind of picked up, you got the ear for it. So I found myself just relaxing, not taking it too personally, and trying to see it in what I think was in the manner it was presented. But tell me about that, because you've done Jamaican, etc., various other interpretations of languages and all that. How was that received?
You know what? It's been received really well, actually. And that is what has led to my sort of growth on social media, because I've always done that in my stand-up. I've always sort of done observations about other cultures and nationalities and my own and anyone and everyone, really, just where I grew up and what I've observed in my life. and it just happens to be different cultures and nationalities. And I didn't really do that on social because I know how easily it can be misinterpreted online, and then next thing you're cancelled and stuff. And then one day I was so busy editing stuff together to try and make like little skits and stuff. And then one day I just thought, let me just say this thought that's in my head. And it was, I don't know if you've seen this one. It was about the sort of working class Southerners and the old school Jamaicans sharing the letter H. So
Okay.
like we don't use the letter H. We say ass, we say I'm happy, I've hurt my hand, and then Jamaicans will use an extra H where it's not needed just because we're not using them.
Give me an example.
It's like we don't really need letter H, but me think me I use it anyway. like that. Somebody must have dropped this by accident. So they're working together without realizing, and it was just an observation put in that sort of way, and it really went well. Like it went over 1 million views, and I thought, that was just me being me. That was just my own thought process. I didn't really think too much about it. I just said it. And then I thought, I've got other sort of things that I've noticed and observed. That was then I've done my first Nigeria one. I put that out.
Do the Nigerian one.
It was just about how, like, I was saying, like, Nigerians are the best teachers, really, because, like, the best teachers in life are people that make you ask yourself questions. They don't tell you what's right or wrong. They make you question whether you are doing the right thing. And a Nigerian will do that. They will just ask you lots of questions. Why are you doing that? Do you want me to come over there? And you start thinking, why am I doing this? Do I want them to come over here? And rather than telling you no, it just makes you ask yourself the questions, which leads to you disciplining yourself and checking your behavior there and then on the spot. And yeah, so obviously there's accents involved, but underneath all of it, the observation about that culture has to be correct. And as long as the observation is correct and the accent is good, obviously, then it can't be offensive really, because it's accurate, you know. And that's what I'm finding in the comments is the people from those cultures, those nationalities, that they very much appreciate the accuracy and the inclusion in the comedy aspect of it, because
That's interesting.
we're kind of led to believe that, like, joking about other cultures and stuff is divisive. And what I'm finding is actually it unites us, the ability to laugh with each other and at each other and accept and enjoy our differences. That is actually uniting us rather than dividing us. And yeah, that's what I'd say.
Have you ever had people comments and say, or they believe that your intention was to divide and they're all for that? And if so, how do you deal with that?
Well, do you know what? It's funny enough, there's very few comments from anyone that's anti the people I'm speaking about. Like, one guy commented, I can't remember, something on the Indian one about smelling bad, and then I just immediately shut it down and said, no, this isn't the post you think it is. This is not the place for that. And then another one, I can't remember what he said, but I just deleted it rather than even entertaining it and commenting on it. Yeah. I just deleted the comment, and I thought, I don't even want to see it. I don't need to even have that debate visible for people to get involved in whether they agree with the negative side of. I'm just don't want to see it, so I just get rid of it as soon as it. But it rarely happens. Like, no one's really saying anything negative.
Okay, cool. Do you find that it's a fine line though, not to upset a particular culture or etc., or do you just throw caution to the wind, use your observations, and this is based on honing your skills, as it were? So
yeah, I guess as I've been a stand-up for like 13 years, I do have the sort of professional stand-up skill to be able to work out what isn't. Like, I know where the line is between this is me observing and laughing like lightheartedly and then mocking as in like I'm above this person. Like, as soon as it feels, oh, you're laughing at, rather than I really enjoy this, and this makes me happy kind of atmosphere, then it's gone too far. But that's why I do bits about everybody. So I do bits about the working class people on my estate and everybody's. If I'm mocking anybody in kind of a laughing at aspect, it's the people that are very much similar to me in my circle. And that's okay, because they are literally the people that I know. Sometimes it's my own family that I'm laughing at, because the things they say are so silly. But yeah, I wouldn't. I really do try my best not to be mocking anybody. That's my main aim. Yeah.
Can you do a Scouser?
I can do a Scouser if you want me to. I like the way you said Tutenberg. That's what I liked. You said, yeah, Tutenberg, that way.
All right, I'll give you a tick on that one. Right. So, 13 years on the circuit, 13 years as a comedian and all that. What were you doing prior to that?
I've been a carpet fitter, fitting carpets and vinyls for 20 years now. So I still do it now in the daytime. But that's all I knew about. I worked at, for a little while, I worked at Safeway, the supermarket.
Wow.
Those were the days. Yeah, I used to work on the photo developing part and the dry cleaning department. And I work evenings. And I feel guilty about this still now. So sometimes like an old man would turn up with like 30 shirts to get dry cleaned. And I hadn't been doing anything for 3 hours because it was very, very quiet. I mean, you know, when you get into the mindset of I don't want to do anything, and someone turns up with 30 shirts, you don't want to do that either. So I used to, I feel terrible. I used to say, oh no, the machine's broken, and then the old man would have to carry these 30 shirts away with him, and it still haunts me to this day. I think, oh man, why did you do that?
That sounds like proper Catholic guilt or something, you know?
It's more, I don't know, what's the Buddhist, Hindu, who is it believes in karma?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was to go down any of those religious routes, it'd be more of a Buddhist / Hindu kind of religion, I guess.
Okay. So tell me about growing up.
Growing up, well, I lived between two sort of rough council estates in South London that were renowned for being very naughty. And I was on a different estate, sort of in between the two.
Are we talking around Peckham Way, etc.?
No, so Gypsy Hill, that's that kind of way, West Norwood, Gypsy Hill. And I lived in like a little cul-de-sac, and it was literally a very miniature melting pot of different cultures. And I had a Scottish family upstairs, Irish family to the left, Colombian family to the right downstairs, Congolese family below them, Jamaicans over there, Greeks over there. It was like ridiculously multicultural. And yeah, grew up there with my mum and my dad. Enjoyed childhood, but it wasn't easy when I look back. Like, my mum was a sort of a binge drinking alcoholic, so she wasn't drunk all the time, but she had spells of being drunk for like 1-2 weeks, like, but she was a different person when she was drunk. It wasn't my mum. And then my dad was just out all the time. He wasn't doing anything bad, but he wasn't in much. He was out earning money, trying to provide for the family and stuff. But then every Sunday, I used to do motocross when I was a kid. So that was every single Sunday we would go motocross racing. My dad would take me and my brother, and we went everywhere doing motocross racing. Went to Holland, done international racing and stuff. So that was like, I guess, a really nice escape from everything else that was going on. But yeah, it was a good childhood, but it was difficult in some ways or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about your mum now.
Now she's good. Like she's I don't know, she's in her 70s now, and she doesn't drink anymore. But yeah, it was a constant worry growing up of when's the next episode going to be, you know. And when she wasn't drunk, she was a really good mum. You know, she was very strict, I guess. She compared to other people's mums, she was on top of everything, and she made food from scratch every day. We got good food, good meals. Went to school every day. Everything was done properly. Very fair, very honest. And then she would drink, and then just become this other person that wasn't my mum. It was. And then even then, it's like we'd go away, we'd go motocrossing for a weekend sometimes, go on to Holland or whatever. And then whenever you're coming back from anywhere, my main thought would be, I wonder, wonder if she's going to be drunk when I get back. It's weird. I could smell alcohol, like I'd get to the letterbox to knock on the door, and I open the first thing to knock on the door, just that quick, and I knew I could just smell it. And she wasn't even drinking. She used to drink vodka. I could smell it. I don't know how you can even smell that, but I just knew. I just knew that smell, and I knew, weird.
Can I, because we're on the Hurt Locker and all that, and everybody who comes on has a different experience about life, growing up, etc., their relationship with the parents. And this is me saying this as a statement, but when you look back at it, what emotions does it bring up for you?
Is
it conflicted?
Is it conflicted? What do you mean, is it conflicted?
That she's your mum, you love her, etc. But there was a process as a young person that you were hypervigilant.
Yeah, I didn't realize. It wasn't until recently, really, like as becoming a parent myself, that I really started to see what that was like for me. Like at the time, I don't know. My mum was used to drink sometimes. It wasn't. You can't process the emotions properly. But now, like as a parent, man, I don't want my son to even see me any form of not sober like this. Like I don't want him to see me drunk, stoned, nothing. Like I love magic mushrooms, but I don't ever want him to see me on magic mushrooms. I don't want him to. Yeah, I want him to look. I don't want him to ever look in my eyes and not see me. Do you know what I mean? Like, so. And it was weird. Obviously, like when you look at it in some way, it was weirdly a positive, because sometimes I think, would I have even been where I am, what I'm doing now, if she wasn't doing what she was doing then? It's that weird trauma, creativity conundrum. Sometimes like my son's so funny now. He's only 2, and I can see he's got great comedic timing and stuff. And there's a little thought in my mind that goes, well, maybe it's going to be too easy for him and he won't fulfill his potential. Do you know what I mean? So maybe I should mess up some stuff and make him more creative. But but it's a weird one when I look back. And I watched a show a little while back in Edinburgh. There's a comedian friend of mine called Chris McGlade, and he does this whole show about forgiving his dad. His dad was murdered, and he does this comedy show, believe it or not, about his dad being murdered and how he forgave his dad's killer. And I saw the show several times, but every single time I watched it, I cried. And there was one part in it where at the end of it, he forgives everybody. So he forgives his dad's killer, and then he starts talking about his mum, who was an alcoholic, and how he resented her for years for being an alcoholic. And then he thought to himself, but she was just a human, just trying her best to, she just knew what she knew from what she was taught when she was growing up, and that was her doing her best. It wasn't great, but it was her best. And then he thought, oh man, I can't believe I even resented her, and he forgave himself. And when I heard him say that part about his mum, I realized that I'd resented my mum all these years, and I didn't even know. I watched his show, and I came back from Scotland and just went to my mum's and said, thank you for, you tried your best, and I appreciate everything you did.
How was that? How was that meeting of minds? Meeting
with my
of
mum.
human. Yeah.
Um, it's a weird one. She felt it and she knew what I was saying, but she did what she's always done, and that's like not really said much. There was never much said on her part in terms. She never really said sorry ever for doing what she did. She never woke up in the morning and said, "I'm really sorry. I was like that." She sometimes we filmed her sometimes to show her like what she was like, and even then she never watched it and said, "Oh, I'm really sorry." She just sort of acted like it had never happened, and "Oh well, I'm sober now," kind of thing. So, let's just forget about it. And that was always the way it was. It was never acknowledgement of what was happening, and I think that was quite damaging. I think that was one of the hardest parts about it was the lack of communication about what was going on. Even now, like it still really hasn't been communicated from her part. The rest of the family, we discuss it and stuff, but she doesn't really say much. I think there's obviously a deep-seated trauma in her life that she's, that's the reason that was happening in the first place. But yeah, it's but then the cycle just is down to me to break that cycle that's continued through generations and generations. It's acknowledging it and going, okay, that isn't going to happen anymore.
Okay.
And
What about your relationship with your brother then? How did you both cope?
me and my brother, great. Like we have a great relationship. Do you know what? It's weird. I think my partner now, she's broken the cycle. She made me break the cycle of not communicating. So the rest of the family still don't really say a lot. You know what I mean? There's a lot of words not getting said on their part. And it's hard when you're the only one that wants to discuss.
The conversations, absolutely.
Yeah, so like I love him and he loves me and we get on great, but I feel like there's still a lot of unsaid stuff on his part. I don't know. I was gonna say I could be wrong, but I'm not. I'm not wrong. I was gonna give him the benefit of that, but I know there's stuff we're not saying. Do you know what I mean? I know it. So yeah, but it's maybe one day he's 3 years younger than me. Maybe
I was gonna ask that.
yeah, maybe that day will come for him and he'll want to discuss more and let stuff out and break it down and analyze it. I'm a very analytical brain. Obviously, that's why I'm a comedian. I think I'm observant and I'm always trying to work out why and what and how. So that just comes naturally to me. The psychology part of stuff and working through why. And I think that's why I've never done therapy. Like people say, have you ever been to therapy? And I don't really need therapy because I do it on myself. If I feel low, I try and ask myself why I'm feeling low. I get to the bottom of what is it? What really is it that's
Okay.
that's getting to you?
Okay. When was the last time you told your brother you loved him?
I tell him all the time. I
Do
tell him
you?
all the time. Yeah, all the time. Every time I see him.
Does he reciprocate that?
Yeah. We hug like we hug like we it's the last time we're ever gonna see each other. It's real love, proper like I love you, brother, kind of,
I was going to ask as well, your missus, she's not a therapist by any chance, is she? Only because you said she's broken the cycle, as it were.
No, she's not a therapist. She probably could be though if she wanted to be.
Okay.
She would say no, I couldn't be, but she could be. She doubts herself in a lot of areas, but she's a very clever girl.
Okay. Have you forgiven yourself?
For what?
In relation to how you felt about your mum?
Yeah, I have forgiven myself. I've forgiven everybody. It's one of the things I learned from my dad, really, is forgiveness. It's my dad was he was a big, strong man. He's older now, but he was a big, strong man, and he was, like literally physically strong and could have done a lot of stuff to a lot of people, but often I saw him forgive and have a level of understanding. And our house got robbed once, and he just said, "Do you know what? They probably needed it." You know.
Wow. Wow. Did he ever find out who robbed you?
Yeah, he did,
I'm
and
sure he did. I'm sure he
he,
did.
he was the neighbor actually, and he shouted a little bit, but he could have done more. But he knew that his same thing. He knew that they were, they were damaged people, and it is what it is, and life is what it is, and people are going through journeys of their own all the time.
Mm.
And yeah, just that was a big lesson. He taught me that over and over again. I saw him just forgive people and understand people. He always asked why, that, and he always, if he ever told you not to do something or to do something, he'd explain why you shouldn't do it, which I think is so important in life as well. It's easy to say don't do that, but why?
Is he an educator to you? Was he your hero? Because at the beginning you
Yeah.
said he wasn't around, he was out, he was grafting, he was trying to put food on the table and all of that.
Yeah, do you know it's funny, because that's exactly what I used to say. People used to say, "Who was your hero?" Like when they talk about me in comedy, or who were your heroes when you were a kid. And I used to watch all the action heroes: Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, all of those, and they didn't come close to my dad. He was my hero. That was who I wanted to be when I was a kid. And I guess this is in my hurt locker actually, because
Go on.
I got emotional.
It's okay. Be emotional.
One sec. I guess you get to a point and you realize that even your heroes have faults, and I guess that's that cycle again of going, yeah. So like, he was my hero, but I could still do better than that. There's still fault there to learn from, to improve on, and nobody's a hero forever, I guess.
True. It's true. What's your relationship like with him now?
It's great, really good. He comes to I run a comedy club in Ramsgate in Kent, where he lives.
Okay.
And he comes to every show, and I know he loves me, and I know he's proud of me. Like, that's funny. That's another thing about growing up. Like, no one ever said, "I love you." No one ever said, "I'm proud of you." And that's probably what drove me to be funny, to be a comedian, to get people to laugh, is because laughter is that, "Oh, we accept you, we like you," medicine that I was lacking. And I knew my dad loved me. Like, I always, whatever, if something happened and I went to my dad and told him, he was 100% there in an instant on my side. Like, there was no doubt in my heart that he loved me, but he never said the words. Even now, he says it, but he's very old school. He's an old school man, and he'll say it, but really really quickly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like,
Look away as well.
yeah, like, he hugged me. Like, if I hug him a little bit tighter, he'll hug me tighter, because he wanted that anyway. But I very much have to lead the way on the the showing of emotions to get him to show them back. But yeah, relationship with him's great. I love him to bits, and he loves me, and he's proud of me. And my mum, if I go back to my mum, so the only time my mum said, "I love you," and this was such a recent realization of mine. The only time she said it was when she was drunk, which is unbelievable, because that was when none of us liked her. She was doing the thing that none of us wanted her to do, and then that was when she said, "I love you." Like that's completely, what's that word? Not ironic. There's another word. Anyway, it was backwards, because if she really loved me, she wouldn't have been drunk doing the thing that we hated her doing. And that was the only time she said it. But I'm proud of you. No one ever said I'm proud of you. And I think that's just what I was just chasing that. I've been chasing that for years. That's where I am now.
Okay, so does your, obviously, it's rhetorical, the question, but your experiences as a child, as a son growing up, influences the way that you raise your own son as well?
100%. Yeah, definitely. Like, he doesn't even understand. He doesn't even understand me saying I'm proud of you right now, but I tell him all the time, like, I am. And I tell him I love him all the time. He doesn't understand that yet either, but he will do soon enough. And I just communicate all the time. Anything I can explain to him, I'll explain to him. And he's so clever. I don't know if that's part of the reason of it, but he's so smart. I know everyone says their kid's smart, but like he's head and shoulders above the other 2-year-olds I'm looking at. They are thick, mate.
Funny. I get the feeling that he senses that love of you.
Yeah.
It's unconditional.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything. Just be himself, and you'll accept him regardless.
You know what's funny about that is that it's the other way around as well. That's the magical thing about it, is he is giving me that thing I never had. He just there's no conditions. There's no if I show that I like him, I might be able to get this. He doesn't know any of that. He just loves me for being me. He doesn't understand I'm a comedian, that I'm working hard, nothing. He just knows me as a person, as a man, and he loves me, and it's reciprocated. It's just the purest, most beautiful love that
absolutely
ever.
I was going to add that there's a richness, there's a beauty to that as well. You can't harness it. It's just organic.
Yeah.
When that love appears. We've touched on the Hurt Locker. You've expressed some of what's in your Hurt Locker. Let's dig deeper into that. Let's talk about mental health.
Yeah.
For you yourself, what's your take on mental health? Have you found it challenging to articulate what your needs are? Have you ever struggled with your mental health?
You know what? I wouldn't say I've struggled with my mental health, really. Like I have days where they're harder and moments where I haven't known where I'm going or what I want to do. To be honest, the fact that I found stand-up has saved me, really. Like that.
Go on, you need to unpick that. Saved you.
Like that is
what does that mean?
Because I think everybody has something that they are natural at. Like it's their thing. It's the thing that what's crazy is sometimes I say to people when I try and discover what it is that they, people say, I don't know what I want to do in my life. I don't know where I want to go in my life. And I say, tell me something that you love doing.
100%.
And that sounds like such an easy question, doesn't it? Tell me something you love doing. You'd be amazed how much of a struggle that is for people to answer that question. Tell me something you love doing. Tell me something you love doing.
Me?
Yeah.
You know what? I love being a therapist, but no more than anything else. I love working around the area, the sphere of suicide.
Right.
Because for me, this takes me into the shadows, into the darkness of humanity's pains. It's about the shame that they feel, that they can't find answers for things. And because they find it difficult to find answers for things, they'd rather, in some instances, die. Because we live in a society whereby it's not easy to talk about our discomforts. It's not easy sometimes, and it should be. We should be able to normalize talking about our stresses, our fears, our shames. We should be able to do it. I always say this. I'm of a vintage now whereby we used to see the cancer adverts and they used to always talk about the big C, but they'd never verbalize it as if it was a contagion, you know? And now you see Macmillan adverts every day, you know, on the TV, having coffee mornings and that. And I've said this time and again, and that's where we need to be about talking about mental health. That's where we need to be in terms of talking about suicide.
Yeah.
That's where we need to be.
Yeah, because I find, like, I got this thing of when I talk to strangers. When I start talking to strangers, for some reason, I just give them a little bit of something, how I feel. And next thing they're unloading. It's saying about me that they feel comfortable saying stuff to. But it's also because I gave them a little piece of how I feel inside. And I think that is the thing that it's lacking. Like it only takes one person to say the feeling, and then the other person feels like, oh, I could say how I feel now, actually, because he said how he feels.
Give them permission, as it were. Yes.
I feel kind of similar to that, but it's that trickle effect, but it just doesn't start quite often. No one has that beginning revelation of how they feel, you know?
When was the last time, or tell me a time you were vulnerable? You felt absolutely vulnerable. A time when you didn't have answers to how you felt.
I'll just tell you the first thing I thought of then. This was, I don't know if it was the last time, but it was a time. So it's my mum again. So my mum used to obviously get drunk, blackout drunk and stuff. And then she went for a stage of like, she'd fall over and smack her head on the fireplace and her head's bleeding and whatever. And you call an ambulance to take her and she just refused to get an ambulance. And they used to, it happened numerous times. They'd say, oh, she's refusing to get an ambulance, we're not allowed to take her. And it got to a point that I just thought, I think she's gonna die one of these days. Like, I don't know when or how, but it just feels like she's not gonna last much longer at this rate. And the weirdest thing was, I was scared, but I was also relieved that would happen.
Yeah, that's like
And
an anticipated grieving.
like it was that. Yeah, you know that took some forgiving of myself to feel like that. That was.
Tell me why it took forgiving. Because did you need to forgive yourself?
I had to forgive myself because that makes you feel so guilty that you'd feel relieved that your mum had died. Like, how could you possibly be relieved?
Because that's a normal human emotion.
Of course, yeah.
It may not be perceived as a societal norm, but that's a normal human emotion.
Yeah. But yeah, to understand that is that, and to go through that process of even accepting that that's how I felt at any point, to actually accept that is how I felt was difficult. And that, I guess, was some kind of feeling lost. Like, is that normal to feel that emotion, to feel relief at the thought of her passing away? And that was just a tough stage, you know. That was a stage where she was one of her worst points, and thankfully she got through it, and we all got through it, and it didn't happen. But yeah, I'd say I felt vulnerable then, I guess.
Wilson, thank you for sharing that. You know, because you're probably the first person actually on the Hurt Locker that's actually voiced those emotions and being authentic and genuine about how you felt when you were dealing with the struggles of your mum. And I think by doing that, by saying that, it helps other people when they think and feel a similar way. So
Yeah.
props to you for that one.
Thanks.
You feeling vulnerable now?
It's just it is life, isn't it? You know, but and that's
Absolutely.
another thing that I said recently about when I look back sometimes on my childhood. I go like, there's a lot of stuff about Epstein and people getting abused and stuff recently, and it made me. I said to my partner a little while ago, like, do you know what? Sometimes I think, oh, actually, my childhood wasn't that bad, and she went, are you crazy? Like, it was just as bad for you as it was for it's just a different type of trauma. Just because you weren't physically abused, you were mentally tortured every day.
Psychological, absolutely.
Will it, won't it? Will it, won't it? You know, it's so, yeah.
And I'm thinking as well, during that period of time, you were on a state of hypervigilance, being aware, screening for the what ifs,
Yeah.
what's going to happen, what's next.
Yeah, I think that's why I was quite good at chess.
Oh, don't talk to me about chess, though. I love chess.
Really?
I waste too much time on chess. Way too much time on chess.
No, I was a school chess champion, man. 7 games unbeaten. That was
At what age?
yeah. What was I then? Like, I don't know, 14 maybe, something like
Okay.
that.
I think I was chess champion in my primary school, but to be honest, and I'll confess on this, I knew I got cheated on the first time around, so we had a rematch. I cried my eyes out because I knew he cheated on me. So the second time, I kicked his ass and all of that, but
all the things to feel vulnerable about. I'd feel really vulnerable to admitting I cried over a game of chess.
hey, this is my journey. I hate to get beat. I hate to get beat. But yeah, I'll recheck that one. I'll rethink that one now. Sorry. Yeah, you're not a footy supporter, are you, by any chance?
Yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan, yeah.
Of course you are. Why Chelsea?
Why Chelsea? I don't know, really. I should support Crystal Palace. That's where I grew up. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. My neighbour, the Scottish family upstairs, he was a Chelsea fan. And I just said, all right, I'll support Chelsea. And then the first game I ever watched of Chelsea was them getting beat 4-0 by Man United in the FA Cup in 1994.
That's
And
etched in your psyche.
do you know what's funny? Like, it's weird how men can remember stuff like that. Like, I can't remember where anything is in my house. Where's this? I'm like, why would I know where that is? But yeah, Mark Hughes scoring a double against. But Mark Hughes scoring a double against Liverpool, a 4-2 victory in the FA Cup. I remember that.
Don't go there on that one. Don't go there on that one. Anyway, we're still the most successful British
Back to
team.
goal. He had his back to goal. He had his back to goal.
Oh,
Spun
blah,
round.
blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Tim, we're cutting out here. We're cutting out here. Before, talking about your son, and right at the beginning, I dived in with my thoughts on your social media posts and all that. Given what we've seen around us and what's going on locally, across the UK, and globally, are you hopeful for your son? Do you have any fears?
It's a big question. I think the world will be a better place, but I think currently there's like it's at a point of getting worse in order to get better.
So the pendulum has to swing so
It
far to the right.
to go a little bit further still.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain why that is, but not enough people can see what I think they need to see, which is that us lot down here are not the issue. It's all up.
100%.
It's all up there. And once people realise that every single time a revelation happens about the government or the powers above the government, wherever they may be, another group of people wake up, as I like to say it, and realise, hold on a minute, if they're lying about that, what else are they lying about? And we're just a few more revelations away from enough people going, I don't trust them in any area now.
Yeah.
And once the number of people that don't trust to the number of people that do trust is bigger, then that herd mentality helps us in a way. Because at the moment, the herd mentality is holding us back because they're just doing what's popular. And as soon as the thing that's popular is noticing that we are all actually one down here,
100%.
that's when the pendulum swings the other way. But it has to.
You
It
still
has to be
think
more.
there's a few more levels before we get to that
I
point?
think so. I don't know what they are, but yeah, I think there's still a little bit more to go. I got to write a show. So because of my social media growth and stuff, a lot of people want to come and see me. Where can I see you live? And obviously, for a comedian, the idea of a social media growth is, for most of us, is to eventually do our own show and do our own tour, which is what a lot of comics do now. Even though they're not on TV, they're able to tour
Yes.
country and do their own show. And I just am in the process of writing that show now, I guess. Not physically written anything down, but just the thought of what it will be and how I will deliver it and what the message will be in that show. And obviously it will be based around the cultures and the nationalities and the accents and what I know and how it just, the other day I just thought it comes back to the idea of like even people that are racist or whatever they may be, that deep down they are sad inside. They are so sad within themselves that they are just targeting anyone else that isn't them, and that's different in any form. And it just dawned on me that how sad, how upset do you have to be with yourself to go, that guy's brown, that guy's from a different country. And I think that is so much easier to enjoy the differences of other
Absolutely.
people, other
And to celebrate.
to celebrate it than to hate it. It takes so much effort and energy to be angry with it, to find something to scream at. And I think that's the message of the show is it's so much easier to embrace and enjoy rather than to do the opposite. Yeah.
Funny, my sister always said, Tim's just posted that you're playing Hot Water in Liverpool on the 3rd of April.
Yeah, funny enough, that suits this podcast because it's a mate's men's. It's basically for men's mental health. Men and their emotions. I think it is charity. Yeah, Hot Water Comedy Club.
MATE.
Yeah.
Man.
Great lineup as well. Really, really good lineup of comedians on there as well.
Cool. It's funny just picking up on what you say about people being sad. My sister always used to say, let me remember it now. Misery is only happy when it's got companionship. Misery is only happy when it's got companionship. And talking about the levels, was it yesterday or the day before when Reform were talking about having an ICE style type of system in this country?
Yeah.
I don't think the black and brown communities would be passive in as much as they have been in America. I do not think so whatsoever. You know, I cannot see African communities. I cannot see West Indian communities just getting stopped in the street and just accepting what's going on.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
And God forbid people think that that's acceptable behaviors to another human being.
Of course,
No.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We shall see.
And that, do you know what? It as horrific as that would be if that scenario played out. Maybe that's another one of the things that need or might happen that will make more people go, oh, no, I'm not happy with this now. This is too far. And question. I haven't got a TV. I don't know if that. So I just put this out there. You talking about Reform and the news, and I haven't had a TV for 4 years. And at one point, I was deep into the ness and the noise of the news and the media and the divisiveness of it all. And then I thought I got to step away from all of this and remove myself from the whole cycle. Because what I thought was, if none of us had, this is when I did have a TV, I think everyone should switch off the media, all forms of news from the mainstream, because if none of us heard what they were saying, then all of their power would disappear, because we're only governed by informed consent. If none of us are conformed, none of us can consent, because we ain't got a clue what they're trying to do. And there's too many of us to try and say, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, because all of us are doing it wrong. They have nowhere near enough power to govern us in that sense. And then I thought, well, if you want everyone to switch off their media, why don't you set an example and you switch off yours? So I haven't got a TV anymore, and if the news comes on the radio, I just turn it down. I don't care what they're saying about anything. And the world, when I'm not in that other side of the world, is lovely out here. Like, I don't really see much going on. Everyone I meet is nice. Everyone, black, white, Asian, whatever, everyone seems to get along in the street, in the real world. And then you switch on that TV and it looks like everyone's burning down and everyone hates each other.
And it's interesting you should say that, because the vitriol that you hear about London and how it's one of the most unsafest places in the world, that's from across the Atlantic saying that about London itself.
Yeah.
But I think part and parcel of your argument falls down, in my opinion, is that you've started to infiltrate social media as a way of
I agree. Yeah.
message across, and it's a drip, drip kind of approach. And even though my friend used to say to me, the forces of evil are small but united. The forces of good are large but disjointed.
Absolutely hit the nail on the spot. The only thing that we, the people, are lacking is organization. Yeah. Like, if we could just organize, the game would be up
100%.
so quickly, 100%. But we can't organize. And you said a minute ago about misery's best companion is, what was you saying again?
Yeah, misery is only happy when it's got companionship.
When it's got companionship. So the companionship for that misery for those people is on their TV every single day, and they keep seeing it. They keep seeing their companion saying hateful things all of the time.
It cranks it up.
Yeah. So they feel like that opinion is validated constantly,
And yeah, I get a sense, because I think I share with you an optimism that things can be different.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy what I do in terms of therapy, working in the sphere of suicide, supporting people who've been bereaved by suicide, etc. Because I think that we can make a difference. We can contribute to a change.
Yeah.
In the discourse that's happening now.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't know how you choose your guests for this show, but you should look up that guy I spoke about, Chris McGlade. He's a northern comedian from Middlesbrough.
We'll work with the smog monster any day of the week.
Yeah. But yeah, he's literally, his whole show is called Forgiveness, and it's about his dad's murder and how he forgive him, and he's big on mental health and discussing everything. Yeah, Chris McGlade he'd be great for this show.
Thank you, Wilson. I appreciate that. How have you found it being on the Hurt Locker?
I really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure how well conversation would flow, or how much I would have in my locker, so to speak. But it's been great. It's a good chat. You've been a nice host, and yeah. What, are you a therapist? Is that your actual job?
I am, yes, as well.
You are? Yeah. Okay. So kind of, I could technically say I have done therapy now. So.
Okay. Question. You can only pick one person.
Yeah.
Who's the most important person in your life?
Well, it's my son. It's not even
It's not up for debate, is it?
It's not even close.
Okay.
But I've never felt anything. Do you know what? I used to think there'd never be like a love like I love my dad, but the love I have for my son now, it makes the love I have for my dad seem so small. I still love him, but it's nothing compared to the love I have for him. It's just unbelievable.
Okay.
And people say, what's the meaning of life? You know that meaning of life? What's the meaning of life question?
42. Yeah, we'll go there on that one.
When he was born, I got it. I said, this is it. This is the meaning of life. I've got it.
Okay. What if I said you were wrong? What if I said to you, the most important person in your life is you?
I see what you did there.
Okay. Okay. What if I said the most important person in your life is you because you're the expert of you? You know what makes yourself happy. You know what makes yourself sad. And only by attending to your needs first and foremost can you be fully there for the people who are important in your life. And imagine this. Imagine if you took care of business for you. Imagine how much more richer and textured and layered that love and care would be for your son, your our fella, your missus, and all those important people in your life.
Do you know, I didn't think I'd be swung in an argument that quickly, but I think you're right.
I know, right?
I've never lost an argument that quick in my whole life.
Nice job. Okay, last question.
Yeah.
Are you working tonight?
No, not tonight.
Okay,
No.
so you're at home. I'm not going to tell anybody where you are at this moment, but you make your way home, right?
Yeah.
After the Hurt Locker, you sit down with the missus, listening to a bit of music, and there's a knock at the door. You go to the door, and it's 12-year-old Wilson standing there when you open the door. What do you say to him?
I'm not sure why that instantly made me cry, but it did. What do I say to him?
Or what do you do?
I tell him that he can do anything he wants to do. If you love something and you enjoy doing that thing, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it over and over again, and you'll become so good at it because you love it that you'll do that thing. You do that thing that'll be your job, and it won't be a job. It'll just be something you love.
Absolutely.
And can do it. You can do it. Like, it's not even, you've got the world at your feet. You can do whatever you want to do. That world is your oyster saying. They just say that like it's empty, but it's so true.
100%.
So true.
100%. Wilson Milton, it's been a blast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the Hurt Locker. And that's a wrap, Tim. The Hurt Locker is a safe space for our guests to openly share their mental health experiences. If you have been affected by any of the content in this recording, then please reach out for support. If it is an emergency, dial 999. If you would like to talk to somebody today, then please call the Samaritans on 116-123. Stay safe. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Hurt Locker. Please give us a rating or share with another listener. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Hurt Locker Pod.